Well, what's happening, everybody? Jay Shockblast here, and man, just got back from seeing the brand new Ghostbusters movie. This one directed by Paul Feig, and I just, I don't know what to say. Um, it was interesting. We'll go with that to start. I know that probably doesn't instill much confidence in you moving forward, but I'll tell you, I'm not going to make this a long, drawn-out review. I think really, obviously there's going to be some spoilers. I have to talk about things that happen in the movie. Um, you know, Reboots and remakes are so hard because automatically you're going to be compared to the original. So, they have that going against them from the start. Last 32 years, this has been, basically a seminal classic, one of the great all-time movies. And I know as a child of the 80s, I grew up on this movie. I mean, this is a movie I watched a lot when I was younger, Ghostbusters 1 and 2. And I don't think I saw it in the theaters, but I definitely watched it so many times afterwards, and I'll never forget the way I felt the first time I watched it. I'm pretty sure I had nightmares for weeks. But one of my cousins, Jeremy, he was just such a huge Ghostbusters fan. He had the old Sega like classic entertainment system, not the Genesis, the one that came before Genesis. And I remember there was a Ghostbusters game for that, and we used to play that all the time. And there was the animated cartoon and, Ecto Cooler. I was so stoked to see Ecto Cooler back on the shelves. I bought like 2 cases on Amazon. I know I've featured it in some videos and stuff like that. But, Ghostbusters was a really big part of growing up for me. So, obviously, it's tough to go into a reboot. I mean, I think a lot of us, as we start seeing movies get rebooted or just remade, however you want to put it, we hold it to such higher standards. And I really feel like, in that regard, they meant well with what they did here. So they went with the all-female cast, and, say what you will about that. Is it necessary? Probably not. I mean, I think it was just like the complete, I just feel like they just went with that just do the complete opposite. And I also feel like it kind of makes a built-in excuse, because they've definitely been quick to throw around the sexist and misogynist card on social media, blaming people, for giving that as the reason, that they were speaking negatively about the movie. There was a lot of negativity surrounding it because the first trailer was awful. No two ways around it. It was just terrible. It was a bad trailer. It really didn't sell the movie very well. The trailers got better as they went on, but this is definitely a movie I would say you could skip. Like, honestly, I think there are going to be people that can go to this movie and say, Jay, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I loved it. It was great. I laughed. It was hilarious. I think it's certainly much more kid-friendly than the original. Not that the original was, I don't think it was I think it was what, rated PG? Oh, it was PG. So, I mean, but it was pretty scary. Like, I remember it being very scary. But, I think the reason why I just have such an issue with it is everything seemed to flow naturally. The humor seemed natural. And this, it just seems really forced. I've never really been a Melissa McCarthy fan. Her character's just kind of eh. Kristen Wiig isn't bad. She's kind of there. I mean, those are basically kind of the 2 stars. Leslie Jones plays the same character that Leslie Jones plays in everything, and I don't really think that's her fault. That's just kind of what she's cast to do, and she does that well, so good for her. I also say that because I'm scared that she will find me and destroy me. But no, I'm kidding. I mean, but really, she is what she is, and that's all. That's what she's gonna do, and I don't have a problem with that. Kate McKinnon. So that's the one that I'm struggling with. she plays Holtzman, and she's kind of like the gadget guy, the Harold Ramey, Egon, sort of, in this one. But the thing is, with Egon, there was some real charm to him, and with, I mean, with McKinnon, I struggle with her because like there are times when she's genuinely funny, and her creepiness and weirdness is like genuinely adds something to the movie. But then there's just some times where I think about the wig scene that you see in the trailer. Was it too far? Like it just felt way too forced. It's a very campy movie. That's definitely a great word I would use for it. It's very campy. But one of the things that I do love is a cameo fest. There's lots of cameos. It starts right from the beginning. Kristen Wiig's character is a professor at Columbia, and she's she's you look out into her hallway, and you can see like a painting, if you will, of Harold Ramey. It's not really known who he's really supposed to, if it's just supposed to be Harold Ramey, or if it's supposed to be, Egon. I don't. It's a different universe, quote unquote. So it's a little bit different. But Charles Dance is her boss. So Tywin Lannister right there in full effect. And honestly, like even before you get to that point, one of my favorite cameos in the whole movie is Zach Woods, who, if you watch the Silicon Valley, he's Jared. I mean, he's been other characters. Like I know he's on The Office, but like honestly, like that was one of my favorite moments of the movie was seeing him. It's like, oh my God, Jared's giving this tour, and I felt bad for Jared. So, well, his name, I don't know what his name was. He was just a tour guide, but I look at him and I see Jared. Other really cool cameos. The dude that played Dopinder in Deadpool is like a Chinese food delivery guy in this movie, and it's pretty funny to see him in there. But and I haven't even gotten to the best part of the movie, and like this is the part where I feel like, I don't know, if they watched my review or listened to my review, they're like, oh, this is just because you're a dude, you're being a misogynist. Chris Hemsworth is the best part of the movie, like, and it's not because he's Thor. It's not because he's a dude. It's just he had the best role, and you see like a different side of Chris Hemsworth. Like he's just a dopey dude. That was his role, being the weird dopey dude, and he played it really well. And I mean, I really felt like his jokes hit with me, whereas everybody else, it was like 50-50, the visual effects in this movie are outstanding. I did not watch the movie in 3D, but I feel like the effects towards the end of the movie are really great, and I think you would find a lot of enjoyment in that. The new weapons, they're trying something new. I guess I'll give them credit for that. I didn't really like the flow of the movie. It was just, it was different, and it didn't feel genuine. It felt like they wanted this to be, a great tribute to the original, but it kind of just felt forced, But man, there are just so many great, cameos. Obviously I mentioned Harold Ramey. He couldn't be in it since he passed away. But, we do see Bill Murray. We do see Dan Aykroyd. We do see Ernie Hudson. We see, what's her name? She played Janine. Annie Potts. We see her at one point. Stay for the credits because at one point we see Sigourney Weaver. And then at the end of the credits, they make reference to Zool. Slimer's in the movie. Stay Puft is in the movie. There's so many cameos. And, I mean, I'm okay with all that. I think that's great. I really enjoyed that aspect of the movie. It just didn't do much, I mean, I don't know. You did have Ozzy Osbourne show up in the movie. Um, what's his name? Yeah. Um, Michael Kenneth Williams. I'm looking it up as I do it. He was one of the agents. And Matt Walsh. I mean, you'll recognize him because he's been in so many movies and so many TV shows. You'll notice him. You'll be like, oh, it's that dude from every movie ever. And yeah, but there's just so many great cameos, and I'm pretty excited. I mean, that part of it made it fun, but in the end, it was just, I don't know. Andy Garcia was in it. Again, there's just so many people that just pop up out of nowhere. And actually, one of my favorite cameos in the movie is somebody nobody's even going to know. Dude named Jeremy Saffer, one of my good friends that I've known for years. He had a cameo during the concert scene. So I mean, there's really a lot of great stuff happening in the movie, but there was something missing to me. It didn't feel genuine, and maybe that's not fair to them, but I just struggled with it. I've seen people say they hate the movie, and honestly, I can see why people would feel that way. I've also seen people say they love the movie, and I can see why they feel that way too. For me, it's just a very average movie, and if I didn't get a 10, honestly, it's way better than the video game, I'll tell you that much. And I got a $10, coupon towards my movie ticket, so I only paid $3 to go to this movie, and if I paid full price, I might have been harder on it. The fact that it was so cheap for me, I maybe it's affecting my review. I don't know. But I just, I don't know. It didn't do what I wanted it to. Like I said, the jokes, they felt so campy. But, there was some nostalgia factor in there. They did definitely do their best to honor it. So I respect that, but I don't know. I would say, if you're very tolerant of movies, go ahead and go see it in the theaters. You could probably avoid it, though. You can probably wait till it comes out, Redbox it, buy the Blu-ray, whatever you want to do. Movies are expensive these days, and it's a 6 out of 10 for me, and I think I'm rating it maybe higher than I should, but it's just basically an average movie, and I'm giving it a slightly above average score, but it's not awful. I'll say that. That's never a ringing endorsement when you have to say it's not awful, but it didn't do it for me overall. But there are some fun parts. There's some parts where I genuinely laughed. But in the end, I could have lived without it, or I could have lived with something that didn't feel like they were forcing an all-women crew on people. But, I mean, the way they did it made sense. The story they told made sense. It was just an average movie with great visual effects. I mean, the visual effects were top-notch. There's no two ways around it. It looked fantastic, but, like I said, 6 out of 10 for me. I'd love to know what you guys think, and that's really all I got. I'd love to know what you guys think, if you haven't seen the movie, how my review makes you feel towards it. If you do go see the movie, I'd love to know what you think, and, man, that's what I got. So I would definitely say you can also avoid this Ghostbusters video game you've been watching in the background. It's not a $50 game. I mean, if you can get it for $10, $15, maybe I would go for it. But at $50, negative. Anyway, I'm Jay Shockblast. I hope you enjoyed my review. I tried to keep it as short as I could, and we'll see you.